The Burning Threshold, Protocol 1983 Part 1. The blind horizon darkness inside the private quarters of the deep subterranean cyber defense vault was alive with a fierce, intoxicating heat. Captain Ethan Vance was entirely consumed by the breathless, electric touch of Major Sarah Sterling. In the heavy, shadowed quiet, his hand slid hungrily along her bare waist, pulling her skin to skin against him as her lips found his neck with a desperate, burning intensity. Their sides tangled together in a rhythm of pure, unadulterated desire, a shared sanctuary of raw human warmth buried miles beneath the frozen mountain above. For a few exquisite moments, the crushing weight of global thermonuclear deterrence simply ceased to exist. Their bodies moved together in a feverish, silent promise of survival, their hearts hammering a frantic tempo against each other's chests. Then the world shattered, a violent, high-pitched screech tore through the air, accompanied by the blinding, rhythmic pulse of a strobing sapphire alert light. The secure console on the wall erupted into a frenzy of flashing data. Ethan tore himself away from her embrace, his skin instantly chilling in the cold air of the room as he lunged toward the main command desk. Sarah wrapping a uniform shirt around herself, her breathing still ragged from passion as she hovered over his shoulder. "We have a total network drop," Ethan hissed, his fingers slamming into the biometric scanner. "SATCOM is completely dead. We've just been blindsided by a blanket communications isolation. The primary strategic terminal didn't just show a localized glitch. It displayed a catastrophic, systemic emergency, strategic aerospace defense grid, alerts to test primary array, SBR space-based radar, blackout terrestrial comms, microwave links severed, fiber trunks dead inbound vector, 500. Intercontinental ballistic missiles detected origin profile, allied Western launch sites simulated strike time to impact. 5 minutes. This doesn't make sense," Sarah gasped, her fingers gripping Ethan's tense shoulders as she stared at the flashing red trajectories mapping across the globe. "An allied launch? A full-scale nuclear first strike from our own coalition partners. It's an exact mirror of the historical precedent," Ethan said, a cold sweat washing away the lingering warmth of their intimacy. Stanislav Petrov. September 1983. A Soviet satellite system glitched, showing 5 incoming American missiles due to a false sun reflection alignment. But this time, it's not a solar reflection. We are completely cut off from external confirmation networks. No phones, no sat links, no verification. We are completely alone in the dark. Part 2. The seductive binarized countdown clock on the master weapon console began to bleed away in cruel, vivid amber digits. Retaliatory launch window expires in 3:15 Ethan. "The retaliatory automated protocols are staging," Sarah whispered, her voice tight with terror. "If the command core doesn't receive a manual cancel code within 3 minutes, our automated silos will launch our entire arsenal in response to a ghost." "That's exactly what they want," Ethan said, his analytical mind fighting through the adrenaline. His 30 years of understanding the anatomy of digital conflict coalesced into a terrifying realization. This isn't a glitch, Sarah, and it isn't a real launch. It's a highly sophisticated, deep psychological cyber weapon. It's a phantom strike designed to exploit our panic, cut our strings to the outside world, and trick a human operator into initiating a real, catastrophic nuclear war. He bypassed the systems clean graphical maps and plunged straight into the raw, underlying cryptographic data stream. The automated system was screaming at him to turn the launch keys, but Ethan refused to look at the pretty pictures the screen was drawing. He needed to read the bones of the code. Cryptographic. Audit parameter system reported statero packet reality validation key. Header alpha secure 9 injected emulation v to telemetry. Timestamp syncron grid time 12 millisecond algorithmic lag asymmetric. Checksum draping mathematical paternithan pointed at the screen, his finger tracing the repeating hexadecimal blocks. "Look at the validation checksums, Sarah, in a real tactical data stream. Atmospheric scintillation and solar wind create chaotic, asymmetrical noise in the packet structures. But these keys are too clean. They are perfectly symmetrical. It's a synthetic loop. They engineered a perfect simulation of an apocalypse, Sarah breathed, leaning in close, her eyes locked on the scrolling code. They cut our ears so we couldn't call home. And then they fed our eyes a lie. The encryption keys are shifting every 10 seconds, Ethan muttered, his hands trembling slightly as he attempted to input an overriding administrative abort sequence. The psychological payload is deep. The system's interface is purposefully throwing error codes to maximize operator panic. Mimicking a failing hardware network to force me to turn the physical key. Part 3. The hold fire 1 minute remaining. Ethan, Sarah called out, her eyes fixed on the countdown clock. The command vault felt suffocatingly small. The automated vocal warning system clicked on, its artificial voice smooth, calm, and utterly terrifying as it spoke into the dim room. Retaliatory launch sequence primed. Please insert physical launch authorization keys. Ethan stood before the heavy steel console. To his left was the physical slot for his master key. If he turned it, hundreds of nuclear warheads would erupt from their silos, roaring into the sky to retaliate against a nation that had never fired a shot. If he didn't turn it, and the strike was real, he would die in this bunker along with everyone else, completely defenseless. Ethan, what does your gut say? Sarah asked, stepping directly in front of him, her hands coming up to cup his face, her eyes locking onto his with absolute, unwavering intensity. Forget the screens. Look at me. What do we do? The code is a beautiful lie, Ethan said softly, his voice dropping into a hard, calm register as he looked into her eyes, feeling the steady, rhythmic beat of her pulse beneath his fingers. The math is a trap. We hold fire. 10 seconds to automated release. The system PURRED. Ethan pulled his hands away from the launch keys, entirely stepping back from the weapon console. He wrapped his arms around Sarah's waist, pulling her close against his chest as they faced the main display together. It was a final, defiant gesture of human agency against a machine made of deception. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. 1 second. The countdown clock hit 0. Instantly, the flashing crimson tracks and the terrifying satellite blackout vanished. The screens glitched violently, cycling through a series of rapid, white-hot system lines before performing a hard, automated safety reboot. System reboot complete. Diagnostic. Malicious payload isolated and purged network status. SATCOM links restored strategic threat level. Green nitrogen monoxide targets detected. The cool, pristine white utility lights of the bunker flickered back on, chasing away the deep crimson shadows of the emergency. The soft, rhythmic hum of the standard ventilation cycle returned, washing a fresh wave of cool air over their damp foreheads. Through the primary communication speaker, a crackling, normal voice finally returned from Central Command. Vault 9, this is Surface Control. We experienced a massive localized server injection on our sector lines. Confirm status. Ethan reached over and clicked the radio toggle, his eyes never leaving Sarah's face. Surface Control, this is Vault 9. The injection has been neutralized. Protocol 1983 was held. We are completely clear. He released the radio switch, letting out a long, ragged breath as he pulled Sarah back into his arms, their lips meeting in a deep, trembling kiss that tasted of immense relief, absolute survival, and a profound victory won not by turning a key, but by having the courage to do absolutely nothing.